Hey, everybody, it's Wednesday night. You know what that means? Well, maybe not, but that means we're back here to do another edition of the ever popular Third and Leng podcast with this knucklehead. He's got all kinds of garbage sitting in front of his desk. The one, the only, you know him, you love him, the coach, Matt Leng. Hello, sir.
Hey, Illinois, and Southern Illinois both won.
We're happy for you. Yep.
Hey,
nice
and your Salukis won too.
Well, you played an FCS program. We played a Division II program. We'll take the wins when we get it.
Yeah.
It's a little more interesting this week for the college teams. Illinois faces Duke. Southern Illinois goes to Purdue. That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
Be an interesting game. Nick Hill's had pretty good success playing Power 4 competition in his tenure so far. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, we are here to talk small school football for the next hour or so, and hopefully a little bit under an hour. It's always my goal, not his goal, my goal. Matt, week one in the books. I know that it's kind of funny. Where I was, the weather was spectacular. Not the case. There were some spotty. I know up in the Cary Grove area, there were some rain. There were some things to deal with on Friday night. But generally, and then Saturday up here, Matt, was absolutely gorgeous. We've had some great weather the last couple of weeks.
Labor Day weekend is one of my favorite holiday weekends of the year, just because you get to rest and relax. By the time Monday rolls around, you think it's Sunday, and you got a lot of football. There was so much football on TV. My son and I were able to go watch Illinois on a Friday night, 70 degrees and beautiful. The football weather down here was perfect. I will say, from a meteorologist standpoint, I think a lot of people are saying it's kind of dry. So we are maybe wishing for some wet weather just to kind of loosen up the ground a little bit, although most people are playing on turf, but it is dry out. I think it'll be cooler. I think it will be cooler.
It is. It actually is dropped. It actually up here is dropped. We had a front come through about an hour ago, and it's feeling more fall-like this evening, no question.
Either way, athletes are going to have to make sure they continue to drink their water and get ready for things. Just on a side note, talking about the Illinois team, they're going to be going out to Duke and Durham, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where it's going to be 80 degrees. It's going to feel like it's 90. So, regardless of the weather, when it gets cooler, you still got to drink your water. And I'm really looking forward to talking about some of these early season matchups. We're in week 2, and we'll talk about this as we go on. But man, there are some humdinger, rock'em sock'em, Donnybrook matchups, followed by some week 3 explosion matchups. And just right out of the gate in the first third of the season, we're going to see what some of these teams are made of.
Yeah, no doubt, no question about it. It's always fun this time of year. I personally can't stand. I'm sure I'm going to make some people upset by this, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. And I know it's just how the schedule works. But like this week, Stockton, Lena, week 2.
I know.
I mean, you'd love to see week 7, week 8, week 9, but again, it's the way the conference schedule falls, and it is what it is. But we see that up here in the larger classes from time to time as well. Cary Grove, Prairie Ridge, which is a huge game every year in the Fox Valley. That was week 1. So there's just I guess it's just the luck of the draw, I guess, when it comes to the scheduling. But
sometimes they rotate those schedules. I'll just say this, from watching college football. I mean, I love college football, and I can't wait for pro to start this Sunday. But I mean, literally out of the gates on Saturday. I mean, you had Texas, Ohio State, and then you had all these big time major matchups. Then you turn on the television Sunday afternoon, you got South Carolina against Vatech in a dome, and then you got Miami and Notre Dame. It's Catholics versus it's crazy. It's like,
well, and what that tells you, Matt, is especially the Labor Day weekend games where, let's face it, opening week, you get a lot of Illinois versus Western Illinois, and you get a lot more of that than you get the big time matchups. But tell you what, those big time matchups were on national TV everywhere. So, you didn't get that week one. You generally just would not. You'd see it maybe
you
on
wouldn't get that.
but Fox involved and ABC involved, and you would not see that. So that just should tell you how much more college football continues to grow.
By the dud that we saw Monday night with Coach Belichick in North Carolina and TCU, I think we're kind of like, okay. But I will just say this about high school football. To our viewers, and I think everybody that's watching the podcast know that the schedules will rotate, every year to some extent, and so right off the gate, Tim, if you don't mind me, I want to go over some of these. Can I go over some of these week two?
Go.
Listen to some of these matchups that we have in week two now. So Tim, you just talked about Lena and Stockton. I think everybody wants to know if Stockton is for real, and I think Lena coming off 2 back-to-back state championship losses, I think they got a chip on their shoulder. And Rick Aarons hasn't said anything about stepping aside anytime soon. I think he's going to keep coaching, and I think that's going to be that's going to either bring a statement game or it's going to go right down the wire. We don't need to overanalyze it, but week 2, usually we'd want to see that game in week 5, 6, or 7, and we're used to that. It's right out of the gate week 2. But here's some more matchups. Listen to this. Dixon and Byron. That will be at Byron.
Great game.
They are reintroducing the stadium. They got brand new bleachers, brand new fencing, brand new goalposts. Everett Stein will be there once again. The dignitary. Listen to some of these other matchups. Unity at Unity, Monticello at Unity. That's a rematch of the semifinal game last year that came down to the last play. PBL, probably the sneaky team in that Illini Prairie Conference, along with SJO and Tolono and Monticello. PBL and St. Joe play. In the big boy market, which is your cup of tea, Central and Centennial play here in Champaign. That'll be at Donnybrook, a neighborhood fight. Gibson City and Fisher, Tuscola, Casey Westfield, and top it all off, you got Leroy at Tri-Valley in week 2, 2 schools separated by 15 miles.
Yeah, no doubt, which is great to see and bring. Obviously, you're going to get big crowds at all those games. As you know, I went to Dixon, Byron Dixon last year, and great atmosphere. It was one of the best game day atmospheres I went to all year last year. I was very, very clear, very precise about getting it out there. Like, hey, I don't care if it's 3A, 1A, 12A, it doesn't matter. It was a great atmosphere for a game. Got treated wonderfully by everyone at Dixon and just a big time football atmosphere. And it's going to be the same in Byron. And again, it's 2 of the better teams, obviously, in the Big Northern, and should be just a great matchup. And, again, I think it's one of those where last year you had Byron, I believe that was Caden Constantine's first game back after injury. So he went pretty hard. I don't think he was 100%. I don't think he'd admit one way or the other, but and give Dixon all the credit in the world because Dixon slugged it out with him for 4 quarters. It showed me a lot. Showed me a lot about Dixon as a team and as a program. They're just tough kids, Matt. That's all there is to it.
I do want to say something about
kids. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tim. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I do want to say something about this game. It's at Byron, and they're going to be raising money for a Byron alum and former coach who was diagnosed with cancer. That person is Chris Shank. This game is going to be a really good game. I mean, you got Constantine, you have the Talbert kid for Byron. Dixon is loaded. I mean, they Landon, I think it's what's his name, Landon Carnegie at running back. Jaden Neal at nose guard, Jake Whalen at linebacker. They proved that they have a seat at the table. They're not afraid to go up against Byron. But we're going to find out real quick. Byron played on a Thursday night against Rock Falls. They had Friday and Saturday and Sunday off to kind of relax. And this is going to be a really, really good game in week 2.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And hey, by the way, you have news like that, you interrupt me anytime you need to. So not a problem. Always glad to get that stuff out there, no question. And
And
by the
I
way,
want to say one more thing too. The Hearts are heavy in Tuscola, Illinois. Just some sad news that was kind of brought to my attention on Sunday. And I want everybody in Tuscola to know that, Matt Leng, a former Fisher Bunny, and, I have this platform on this website, on this, great podcast that we do. And I thank you so much, Tim, for letting me do this. But the Hearts are heavy in Tuscola, Illinois. Longtime assistant coach Pat Pierce passed away this Sunday morning. And, Pat Pierce played for Stan Winky. He coached for Stan Winky. He was coaching here with Andy Romine, passed away in his sleep. And the Hearts are really heavy for him. Funeral arrangements, I think, are going to be on Sunday. And so the kids are dealing with that. Pat Pierce and his family were always nice to me at every game. So I just wanted to kind of, send my condolences and my thoughts and prayers to that family and that community. And good luck, Warriors, this week as they take on Casey Westfield.
Very good. You want to go through some rankings?
Sure.
All right, let's go through some rankings. We are going to use the NUIC football state rankings for 8-man through 3-man through Class 3A, and then I'll use AP for 4A. So we'll start in 8-man, Matt. Number one, number two, we'll start at 10 through 1. Number 10 is South Fork. 9 is Flanagan, Cornell Woodland. 8 is South Beloit. 7 is West Carroll. 6 is St. Anne. 5 is Ridgewood. 4 is Pawnee. 3 Polo. 2 Amboy. Number 1 Milledgeville. Not a whole lot of change there.
No, and I will tell you, some of those teams that are still good and that are still flexing their muscles. South Beloit no longer has Jim Morrow at coach, but I think he laid a solid foundation on how to teach and coach 8-man football. Blocking is blocking, tackling is tackling, and that phrase was obviously evident with the next guy I'll talk about. And spoiler alert, we might have him in our show sometime down the future. Pat Elder, who is no longer at Ridgewood, he is at Bureau Valley, and so some of these teams are just, they're still continuing to be good. It's going to be interesting to see how that all unfolds with Amboy, Polo, and some of the big hitters.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, as the season moves along here, we'll start digging into 8-man a little bit more. As you mentioned, we'll have some guests coming up. Probably, Matt, I think next week, right? We're going to start rolling some guests.
Yep.
So that's the plan. By the way, before we move on to 1A, in 8A, others receiving votes: Martinsville, St. Thomas More, Alden Hebron, Metro East Lutheran, West Central, and also Cisna Park. So want to make sure we mention some of those schools. Matt, were you going to say something? Sorry.
And I was just going to say, if you're a 1A coach and you hear some of these names from when I coached back at Fisher, and you're always looking for a non-conference opponent, Metro East Lutheran would pop up, Martinsville would pop up, and let's just call it how it is. I mean, it's the numbers were light. It was a good 1A program, but at the same time, probably somebody you could probably have a good spirited contest with. Now these schools, we say it again and again and again, they now have an identity. I've talked to several superintendents that I've worked with, and they will tell you time and time again, everybody deserves a Friday night experience in their backyard. And football is that, it's that porch, it's Mamaw's house, and it's the front porch to your school. And if you can have some sort of football in your backyard, it's good. So hats off to all these teams. And we will get more information. 8-man for Tim and I think it takes us a little while, but I promise we're not going to neglect you guys.
No, not at all. So, all right, let's move on. I will move on, and let's go through 1A. Again, these are the NUIC football. You can follow them on the X machine, if you will. I still call it Twitter. I think everyone I know still calls it Twitter. But go follow NUIC football. Those guys do a great job, and I'm very, very happy to use the rankings. So let's go through 1A. Others in 1A receiving votes but did not make the top 10 includes Dwight, Clifton Central, DMAC, and also Arthur Lovington. Also received votes but did not make the top 10. Here are the top 10. Number 10, Etowah Weathersfield at 10, Brown County at 9, Galena at 8, Calhoun at 7, KZ Westfield at 6, Gibson City, Melvin Sibley at 5, Stockton, there you go, Stockton at 4, Newman Central Catholic at 3, Camp Point Central at 2, Lee Winslow, no surprise, number 1. Matt, thoughts in 1A?
I always think it's weird when you have Sterling Newman in 1A, but the shift of football and the landscape of football and the population erosion of football, 1A through 8A, has just caused this shift. I will tell you, I always like to talk about the coaches, and at Clifton Central, you no longer have Brian Spooner calling the shots, and they just came off a big win where they beat a very good, historically good football program of Mark Dodd and Bismarck, and they left no doubt. I think some names that you need to kind of be aware of in 1A. We know who the big hitters are. Casey Westfield. Let's see how good they are. They beat the snots out of Fisher in week 1. They are going to be going into Tuscola for a very spirited contest, and I can guarantee you Tuscola will be ready to play. They'll be playing again, like we said, with heavy hearts. Gibson City. I think them and Tri-Valley are in a collision course, and I think those are the two top teams in that conference. I just split up into 2 divisions now, but Josh Roop at Tri-Valley and obviously Chad Dogberger at Gibson City. So hats off. I think 1A is we're going to find out. We're going to find out here in this week 2 Donnybrook between Stockton and Lane and Winslow. And it's always neat to know that Brown County, Hardin Calhoun, those guys are representing the West and the South. Hardin Calhoun has really good peaches there, Tim? Did you ever know that?
I'm sorry?
Did you know that Hardin Calhoun has really good peaches?
I do now. I do now. I'm a big fan of peaches. Kind of hard to get them to ripen though. So, and I know I've tried all the tricks. I've tried putting them in the brown paper bag, and that's the only thing I don't like about peaches. Sometimes it's a little hard to get them just right.
Tim, are you a peach cobbler guy or a cherry cobbler type of guy?
Oh, I'll do either one. Honestly, I like either one equally.
Perfect peach cobbler recipe. I'll share it to you when we get off air.
Right on. I'm all about it. All right, you ready? 2A. Move on to Class 2A. Again, these are the top 10 according to NUIC football. In 2A, receiving votes: Westville, DuQuoin, Aries Prophetstown, Elmwood Brimfield, El Paso Gridley. All receive votes. The top 10: Nashville at 10, Paxton Buckley Loda at 9, Johnston City at 8, Farmington at 7. I think Farmington dropped, even though they won. Seneca at 6. I'm kidding. NUIC is laughing right now. Seneca at 6, EPC at 5, Rockridge at 4, Tri-Valley at 3, Maroa at 2, and Wilmington at 1, despite that 0-1 record. And Matt, as I told you, I had a chance to see some of the highlights from Morris Wilmington. They almost got him. They almost got more out. Everything you kind of would hope for in that game, it happened. So again, very impressed with Wilmington, and they wind up in 2A, and all signs point to them going to 2A. Wow, they're going to be tough in 2A.
Yeah. 2A is fun, and we kind of saw that last year, how that unfolded. And obviously, the state championship game kind of went in a direction maybe a lot of people didn't anticipate, with Chicago Powell Heights kind of winning that game, Chicago Christian and man, you got some tough teams up north. I think Tri-Valley will be north. You mentioned Westville. Did they get votes?
Westville. Yes, they did. They got votes. They actually, well, I don't know if this is in order or not, but yeah, they got votes, so they're probably knocking on the door right now.
Well, we need to. I'm going to try to just talk to Coach Guy Goodlove and get him on. He is a guy that has been around for a long time there.
Yep.
He's been there when that thing was a goat ranch, and now it's a beautiful football facility. It's over in Vermilion County. It's nestled in between Danville and Bismarck and Georgetown, and it's right there on the border. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been in the state championship 2 times, and Guy Goodlove is just as good as coach as it gets, a great administrator. He's now a special ed teacher there, just helping out. He has a player in Jack Eister that's really, really good. And they're coming off a great win in week 1. And, they're kind of the team. I mean, they thumped Salt Fork, and they sent a message. I don't know what's going to happen in that Vermilion Valley Conference over there, but usually Westville's at the top. But, Guy Goodlove, he's quoted as saying, he's like, I've won a bunch of championships and been in the state championship with 35 and 40 kids, and I've had 75, 85, 95 kids out and been 0-9. So, again, we talk about numbers and games and the mindset. Here's a Taskill veteran that's seen it all.
Yeah. And it, again, you've got to have that special group. They've got to buy in. So, also a little shout out.
11, Tim. You got to have the right 11.
Yep. Also a shout out to Piatone, my boy, Coach Tully over in Piatone. Big win over Granite City, went on the road, went down to Southern Illinois and beat Granite City. What's Granite City about, a 5A school size-wise?
Yes. They'd be down there with Alton and Belleville.
Yep. So that's a good win. That's a good win for Piatone. And I know Piatone, I don't know if they made AP top 10 in 2A, or I think they might be a number 10. I have to look, but I know they got some votes, and Coach Tully, I've known he's up here in my neck of the woods. So kind of my neck of the woods. So
he's made them a very respectable program. I know that's
he's done a really good job.
The home of Jeremy Werner, one of our dignitaries that works on the radio. And Jeremy's very proud of his Piatone Blue Devils. And let me tell you, your coach up there has just made them a very salty opponent and respectable program.
A very difficult conference, I'll add. Very difficult conference to get that done in. So, So congrats to Coach Tully, and go good for the Blue Devils for sure. All right, let's move on to Class 3A. This is the top 10 rankings according to NUIC football. Go follow them on the X. Receiving votes, Bloomington Central Catholic, Monmouth, Rossville. Receiving votes. Number 10, Princeton. Number 9, Dupec. Number 8, Williamsville. Number 7, Richmond Burton. Number 6, St. Joe Ogden. Number 5, Monticello. Number 4, Tolono Unity. Number 3, Althoff. Number 2, IC Catholic. And number 1, Byron. That's a heavy hooper. That's a heavy group of hitters right there, pal. That's a good class.
No, it's real good. And one thing I want to say this right off the bat. I know Olympia's in that 3A look, and they, maybe they're not getting votes right now. They came off a big win over Petersburg Porta, but let's tip our hat off to a team that no one talks about, and they haven't talked about them because they haven't had football. They haven't had the numbers for safety reasons and for competitive reasons, and that is Riverton. Riverton just came off a win this Friday night against Pittsfield, and the last time they had a win was in 2022. So that is a positive thing, and they are just pumped high. I don't know how well they're going to do this weekend as they make the trip up to Olympia, but, man, you talk about some good football in that 3A. Williamsville, you got IC, you got Byron, BCC, and then Illini Prairie. I mean, let's face it. You got St. Joe, Tolono Unity. You got the Wizard.
Yeah.
Coley Walter.
Yep. Oh, wait. Here we go.
And then you got BCC, okay? And so they always are going to have players. They're in that landscape in Bloomington Normal with Normal U High, Bloomington Central Catholic, Bloomington High School, Normal West, Normal Community. There's a lot of people in the land of State Farm. BCC has proven their chops over the years. Monmouth Roseville with Coach Adolphson will make they'll make a point for themselves in 3A South this year. They're always competitive and always tough.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so let us move on to Class 4A, and we're going to use AP. Should use my own, but we'll make fun of AP for a moment. AP top 10 in week 2, obviously according to the AP voters. Receiving votes: Highland, Cahokia, Benton, Quincy Notre Dame, Centralia. Whole bunch of ties here. Tied for 10th, Carterville and Rochelle. Number 9 is Sacred Heart Griffin, despite a kind of a lopsided loss, but a loss to a very good CBC team down in St. Louis. Dixon is at 8, Metamora at 7, Breeze Central at 6, Coal City at 5, Morrison at 4, Mount Zion at 3. There is a game we'll talk about in a moment. Rochester at 2, Montini at 1. Sir, I think I know what you're going to want to talk about.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that game between Rochester and Mount Zion is going to be really good. And I will just say this: Rochester came off a very impressive win against Gibson Southern, not Gibson City, Gibson Southern, a team out of Indiana. And that was closer than you thought. That was on the revamped Rochelle Athletic Performance Complex that is just out of this world. And I will say this, and I'm going to do more research. Derek Leonard is awesome, by the way. They have multiple guys going in on offensive positions. I think they might be rotating quarterbacks. I'm not sure of that. But they look like they had some really athletic, loaded guys. And I think it's going to be interesting. Keep an eye right now. I'm telling you, preseason, I'll just say it right now. And they're going to have their battle. They're going to have their hands full, and that's Metamora. They got a brand new coach. And they are ready to go after people over there against the Doug Nutters of Pekin and Washington without Darryl Crouch. And, Metamora they're aiming, they're thinking they could get to the state championship.
Got a great running back. I know that.
What's that?
Cranford is a terrific running back for Metamora.
They're good. They're very solid. Cahokia athletically, probably one of the most athletic teams in the state because of their track program. Just calling it how it is. And then I would say Benton. Benton kind of made a name for itself. We made a name for ourselves when I was at Olympia. We beat Benton down there. But then they came back the following year or two later, and they took on Coach Welder there in Monticello, and it showed that they were not a soft team, that they were not a spread team that was soft. They were very physical, and they could have very easily won that game and very easily been playing the semifinals against Kelowna Unity last year. So, 4A is going to be really interesting. But I'll tell you right now, that Riverton Mount Zion matchup is going to be neat, and then Metamora. I can't say enough about them, man. In preseason, seeing some of their stuff. With WEEK out of Peoria, Jim Matson, he does a great job of covering over there. Wow, they're loaded.
Another interesting matchup this week that's going to impact a couple of different classes here. We talked about obviously Rochelle and Mount Zion, but another matchup as well is our friends over in Coal City taking out Richmond Burton. That's a great game. It is a great game.
Solid football.
Two very similar styles of offense, very similar, very tough physical teams. That'll be a great game, man. That's going to be one that I'll predict that'll stay on both schedules for a while. I think there's a lot of commonality. Now, the only reason you wouldn't want to schedule that, because let's face it, you're both in pretty good conferences and you're trying to get a win somewhere. But if you're talking about going head-to-head against great competition, I think if you're Coal City and Richmond Burton, this is going to be a really good matchup of those two programs.
Well, tradition never graduates, guys. Coal City's always in the discussion in the first and second, third rounds of IHSA playoffs, year in and year out. I don't think anything's changed at Richmond Burton. Coach Knoll's still coaching, right? They're not going to do anything different. They're not going to deviate from the plan. This is physical football, and that's the type of brand of football that wins in November.
Any rumblings as far as, are you hearing anything regarding programs with enrollments or numbers, positive, negative as far as numbers? From what I'm hearing, for the most part, I mean, it depends on where you're at, I'm sure location-wise. Numbers about steady as far as participation. Haven't heard of, I mean, I know last week we talked about some programs that ended up dropping 11-man, going to 8-man, what have you. But as far as the bigger picture, man, I think it's kind of status quo from what I'm being told by different people. Anything?
I think, I'll be honest with you, I think it's just kind of where you're located at. I hate using the Toby Vallis term that I'm wearing out a lot now. Sorry. And that is eroding populations. I just think it kind of depends on where you're at. You know, you look at Macon Meridian. You know, at one time they were in the state championship game a long time ago against Stillman Valley and Bucky Babcock, you know, and now, now they have a great basketball arena and everything down there. Now they're having troubles getting football players. That could be for a variety of reasons. You know, I mean, it could. If you want to hear something that really hits home to a lot of people, the Arcola football team now has combined with Cerro Gordo and be met for a tri-co-op this year.
Yeah,
in which
I heard that.
Be Met and Cerro Gordo are traveling by bus 25, 35 minutes every day for practice to, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's wrong to say this, to kind of keep the brand going in Arcola. But I think you're just trying to give kids opportunities. But it's terrible because in those areas, you're either real close to one another or you're 25 minutes away.
Right.
Okay. Like I look at Fisher, for example. They will be going to a football conference next year. Well, they'll be going to Arcola and some of those teams in Dravelin. They won't be playing Gibson City. They won't be playing Leroy. They won't be playing Hayworth. They'll be traveling an hour away. So my point is the geographic locations. I think the numbers for the most part have been pretty steady, but when you have those incidences such as Cerro Gordo, Be Met, and Arcola, it's just kind of weird. It's kind of disturbing, and hopefully it's not a continuing, trend that we see.
Yeah. I'm with you. I hope we don't see the kind of trend come back for sure and continue to keep up the participation numbers. As far as plans for you this week, you're going to try to get out, or you got responsibilities at home?
I will be in Springfield on Friday for driver's ed. And my goal is to try to find something down there in that area or when I'm coming back.
Generally should, I would think.
Yeah, and usually that indicates that when I'm coming back, I'm getting ready to stop off on Bridge Street in Monticello and grab a pizza, and Coach Welder gives me usually the sideline pass. Next week is going to be really interesting for me because I definitely want to make a trip down to Fisher with my son and kind of show him the grounds that I used to walk on. I will say that game in week 3 against Ridgeview, watch out for Ridgeview. Okay, here's a team that I will just tell you, after Hal Kyoto was there for 2 years, and I think everybody kind of knew Hal was going to be there for 2 years and then he was going to leave. Matt Barnes is the head coach there, and he was a very good physical football player that played at Monmouth College. They've got some good guys up front. They're really physical on both sides of the ball, and they beat Leroy in week 1. They handed it to them. They beat them, and they sent a message. It'll be interesting to see how they do and develop as a program this year. But, I'm excited. I mean, hopefully it'll be nice weather out, and I'm going to watch the Illinois Duke game at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning too. So. Yep.
By the way, shout out to our friends at View from the West. If you're looking for pregame and information on Stockton, Lena with NUIC football, and then View from the West also has their previews going, and really that part of the state they really they have a terrific handle on. So by all means, go visit them and go get educated on the western part of the state. No question through those guys. You mentioned this week 2. I'm still eyeing week 3, a specific 1A power that's going on the road to take on a 5A power. Still eyeing that one, Matt Lang. I'm going to wind up at that game. I'm telling you, I'm going to wind up seeing Lena Winslow at Rochelle. I can almost tell you right now I'm heading there. We'll see how things go after week 2, but eventually I could see 2-2-0 teams going at it. And again, that's going to be another fun matchup.
I will just say, when I talk about some of these matchups, like that's an interesting matchup in week 3. I want to go back to Monticello. So they're at Unity this week. Next week, Monticello's at home against Bloomington Central Catholic in week 3. In week 4, Monticello is at St. Joe. So think of that 3-game stretch.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a big tough path.
I love my brother from another mother, Coach Coley Welder. He is the best Lou Holtz guy I know, because when I asked him how his team was, and he said, right now we're not very good. I'm very frustrated. I don't know what to tell you. And they beat a decent IVC team. I think they'll be all right. But one thing I want to just tell you, I'd like to know, is it any different up there in terms of newspaper coverage? Is that
interesting?
I think that's something to talk about and maybe kind of get into, because I know down here, guys, in our ever so famous News Gazette that I used to look at all the time, and now I kind of look at it. We don't have a newspaper on Mondays down here.
Yeah,
in the great city of Champaign.
All right, so we'll dig into this a little bit. I'll give you some thoughts and some ideas of what's going on with the coverage. From a quote-unquote traditional media, and I hate throwing industry terms and crap around, but it's the best way to describe it. Your newspapers, what have you.
Give me the air quotes one more time. There you go. Good job.
Traditional media.
Yeah.
See, there's different examples. You have the Shaw Group up here, Friday Night Drive. Those guys do a tremendous job. They throw a lot of bodies and a lot of resources at it. That's how they're able to cover what they've been able to cover. So from that aspect of it, the coverage is still there. It's just in different spots now. Now, what we are seeing in the last couple of years, and again, going away from traditional media, it seems like there's been an invasion of 20-some-year-olds with cameras that are 5 times more expensive than the cameras I have. And they're shooting videos and putting out TikToks and doing that aspect of it. So there's a lot. I mean, man, I was on the sideline. Even Friday there were a decent amount. But Saturday at Gately, one of the bigger profile games in Chicagoland Saturday. You don't get a lot of games anyway in Chicagoland, but for Saturday, gorgeous weather, Gately Stadium, there must have been 30, 40 different videographers there shooting video. Yeah. Now, it's all spread out over TikTok, over the gram. So there's coverage, but it's not as, I guess, organized and not as traditional for finding it. So, I mean, there are various Instagram sites that draw a lot of eyeballs and they see a lot of it. And again, it's different coverage though. It's sizzle reels. It's a TikTok video of a game. So I guess in a roundabout way to answer your question, yeah, up here there still is a decent amount of coverage. It's just a completely different venue and a completely different way of covering it. But there is still coverage, if that makes any sense.
Well, there's a different clientele out there doing this job. I mean, you come down here and our News Gazettes, I mean, let's just call it how it is. I mean, Lauren Tate is 100 years old. I'm joking. I mean, he will eventually not be here anymore. He's been here forever. Right. He doesn't do high school football. He talks about Illinois stuff. Okay, so what am I getting at? I mean, if you come down here, Matt Daniels is a young, vibrant, great writer, and he is married and has 3 kids, and he is the sports editor at the News Gazette. Bob Asmussen is, kind of winding down. Some of these guys that you've had over the years are just not there. They're older. They've gone away.
Well, and it's a case of guys that have done it for a long time are retiring or stepping aside, and that industry continues to get pummeled with the layoffs. I mean, newspapers, traditional media continue to cut and hack and slash, and people are dropping every day from jobs.
Yeah,
It's never been harder in this industry. Never been harder.
And you think about, I always joke around a little bit about, and this is not a knock towards Bloomington Normal, but I always kind of called it the land of plenty with State Farm and Illinois Wesleyan and whatever, a little bit more white collar, but it's just as much blue collar. The Pantograph is gone. Jim Benson is gone. Randy Kindred, Randy Reinhardt, they're all gone.
There's like one guy there, like Randy, right? I think he's the only one left.
Randy, for that covers, I should know him.
Kindred.
Anyway, sorry, Randy. Covers the Illinois Wesleyan football team. And what my point is this: you don't have the I don't want to use the word intimacy, but just the connectivity between a coach and a writer that I valued and I look forward to. So to our viewers that are watching out there, if you don't know, I won a contest with the Fisher Bunnies to get interviewed by yours truly, who came down with a TV crew, a microphone.
Hang on. I'll find it. Keep talking.
Yeah.
It's here somewhere. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, so all the stars aligned for me to be interviewed with this guy right here. There you go. Honorary membership. There you go. There you go.
One of the greatest awards I've ever won.
Yeah. And so my point is this, is that I had a interview with you, Tim, after the game with one of my better Fisher football teams going up against a Jerry Lano Dakota team that wasn't that good, but took me into the fourth quarter into a white knuckle game. And I had this interview with you, and there was other people interviewing people. And, for some of these young coaches, they're coming up through the ranks. I kind of feel sorry for them that they are not getting that opportunity
I agree.
to have one-on-one conversations with sports writers.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just a different world that we live in.
It's different. It definitely is. And, that aspect of it is definitely changed. There's no doubt about it. So, but again, I'm encouraged that there's another generation that's out there attempting to cover football. I think it's great. Yeah. I think, there needs to be some things done, which I don't want to get into sound like I'm telling everyone to get off my lawn, but it's encouraging that there's a new era of people out there that are into it and want to cover it and do, the videos and the TikTok videos and what have you. So it's a strange industry. It's changed considerably. It continues to change all the time. You think you get a handle on it and it changes. But it's still there, Matt. But as I said, it's different. So it's definitely.
And I will just say this to all the viewers out there. I do this because I love this game. I love IHSA football. I love Illinois football. I don't do it anymore. My life has changed. But through Tim, I get to go to the Illinois high school state championship games. I get to hang out. I have my own seat. But one of the highlights of the whole day is when I take my son down into the media room and we sit there quietly and we listen to people ask the football players and coaches questions.
Yep.
And my son, he's always asking, he's like, well, I want to ask a question. I was like, well, today's not that day there, son. But my point is that human interaction, I think, is fun because, as you can tell, and Tim reminded me several years ago, Matt, you like to talk a lot. Coaches do like to talk.
Yep. No doubt. There's nothing wrong with that either. So, all right. I think I might do it. You said you've got your plans. Again, I'm going way north. I'm going to Gurney to cover Warren Township, hosting Maine South. And then Saturday, I'm going to be at lovely Duchamp Field at Glenbard West, as Glenbard West hosts Joliet Catholic. And that's another real interesting matchup. And they've never played before, I'm sure of it. So
I'm going to go to
Hilltoppers
Walmart.
against the Hilltoppers, by the way. Thought I'd share that. So
I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to get a Micah Parsons doll for Voodoo. I'm going to make sure.
Man,
I mean, I'm just telling you right now, but hey, NFL's happening this week.
Yep.
And to our viewers,
Monday night. Monday night is not going to be.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Monday night is not going to be an easy night for a lot of us in this area.
Hey, and let's send
I
a
love
shout out to
JJ McCarthy.
Let's send out a shout out to JJ McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. JJ McCarthy rolling back into
My
town.
guy. He's my guy, and it's tough because I'm a diehard.
Are you going to go to that? Are you going to go to that game?
I got too much going on. But yeah, I look at it this way. I always root for JJ, but I'll never root against the Bears. So that's it.
There you go.
I was raised. If it was my own kid, maybe. But even then, can't go against the Bears, buddy. I've been torturing myself this long. Why change? So,
but one thing I was going to say, and I think you acknowledge this, we are going to have guests on, and just give us time to get that developed.
Yeah, we'll have at least one guest next week, and we'll get rolling. So, all right, what else? Anything else?
The Macho Man says, "Dig it."
And you got my favorite Pepsi bottle there still. National championship. Remember it well.
Who did you play?
Oh God, that's a really good question. Oh
Come
man,
on.
who was it? Georgia Southern, maybe? No,
you're in this. You're in the right region.
Western Carolina.
Yes, you did. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Who are the other playoff opponents? Was one Nevada, Reno?
Yeah, Nevada, Reno.
Right, I remember that. And then who's the other one?
Indiana State.
Okay. Yeah. But that was a small playoff field. You only had 3 rounds.
They barely beat the Redbirds that year in 28-26, and they lost.
Yeah.
You know who they lost to in the last game of the regular season?
Hold on. Like Southwest Missouri?
Well, you're kind of in that neck of the woods. Wichita State.
Yeah. Wow.
How times have changed.
It kind of made sense a little bit because, they had played in the Valley for basketball for years, Wichita State. So kind of makes some sense. But, yep, those are the days. All right, dude, we're going to wrap it up. So from Matt Leng, I'm Edgy Tim. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next week. I'll put it out there. I'll tweet out our guest a couple of days in advance and get everyone excited. And you know, man, I think what we'll start doing, I do this with Mike Clark in our podcast. Maybe that day, do you have any questions for us? Ask us. We get pretty good feedback. So we'll do that with Third and Lang. We'll definitely do that. We'll try to get some input from the viewers and try to answer whatever questions they have about us or about football, what have you. We're here for you. So, all right, from Matt Lang, I'm Edgy Tim. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Stop screwing around. Go out, watch a game. See you. Bye.